the screen. We're going to watch some transformational videos.
Hi, my name is Janessa Azevedo, and I go to Northgate here in Indonesia. So I graduated high school in 2018, and leading up to my graduation, my life kind of exploded. My family and I left the church that we had been going to for almost my whole life, and that kind of changed and upended a lot of my hopes and plans. I was praying about joining the youth group as a leader. I was getting more involved and getting better at doing worship. I was just being discipled and poured into, and in a flash, that was all gone. And second, my best friend and I, who I've been friends with for almost 18 years, we got in a really bad fight. Unfortunately, ended our friendship. So I graduated, I didn't have a car, I didn't have a job at that point, and when I did get a job, it was a terrible job, and I had no definite plans for my future. I entered into a depression and was feeling things I had never dealt with before, sadness, anxiety, but also an apathy towards those things. It was hard for me to care because when I looked toward my future, I didn't see anything there. So at that point, my family had started trying out Northgate, and it was completely different from what we were used to, but it was really good, and God really began to reach me here and soften my heart through this messages, which were like strangely on point to what I needed to hear, the worship. I was learning what it really meant to build a home in His presence. He was assuring me every day of my purpose and my value. So in this healing and growing process, there's been a lot of steps for me, and recently God revealed that my next step was to find community and get involved in some way. I remember one morning in particular, I was spending time with God, and He gently reminded me that, hey, in your next step for a while, you really need to be active about praying for it. So I did. I was like, okay, well, can you just guide me, please? Open the doors that I need to walk through, give me discernment to see those open doors. And literally that same day, my brother came home from work, which is the church, and he said, hey, are you interested in doing worship for the youth group? And I knew that my answer was a yes, despite how unqualified I may have felt or nervous. It was just confirmation. I was like, wow, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Even though everything that I've been through the last year and a half, 2 years has been incredibly hard and just difficult to go through, I don't regret it because I know that I'm walking in my purpose, and through this, God has just grown me so much. I love Him more than ever. I know with absolute conviction who I am, what I'm supposed to be doing, and I see the fruit of that. I see how it's impacted myself and those around me, and it's the best feeling in the world to be walking in your purpose, to know you're right where you're supposed to be. One of the biggest things I learned through this process is just getting on my knees before the Lord and submitting everything. I really like to hold on to stuff, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. And something that's just, I want to encourage anyone who's listening, true change is going to come when you surrender everything. Surrender your hopes, your dreams, your fears, your anxiety. Those aren't your burdens, those aren't yours to keep, they're God's, and there's true freedom in that. When He has all of that for you and He's leading the way, you're able to find who God has made you to be and walk in that with conviction and confidence.
Wow. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. I love walking with Jesus in this walk with Jesus, because he's with us in our emotions, right? There's a place for somber reflection, and there's a place for that and looking back on who we are and who we want to become. But then there's a place for celebration and a party too. And so if you're at a place where you're maybe on a mountaintop experience and you want to celebrate, you want that party, or maybe you're maybe in the valley, you're I just want to celebrate until it comes and I want that joy. That's what generous living time is for. So this is our generous living time. Yeah. And so we cheer. We have little mini parties every week for generous living, for what God is doing in our lives, the transformation that's taking place. And we take a time to say, God, we are so thankful. We are so thankful for everything you have given us, both like in physical resources, but then also in spiritual resources and the things that we need for our soul. And so we celebrate. We say, God, like, thank you so much. And I've heard it often. I heard a pastor friend of mine recently say that he believes the next wave of Christian revival, the next wave of revival that's going to happen in the church is going to be ushered in through joy. Is going to be ushered in through celebration and parties. And I believe that. I'm excited for that, and I'm excited to see what God does as we unleash compassion and live generous lives here at Northgate. And so if you're new with us, what this is it's really a time for us to put God in his proper place and say, God, thank you for all that you've given us. Thank you for being generous with us, with your love. And then where we give back, and we say, God, we recognize that this all comes from you, and where our culture may tell us to spend every dollar that comes our way, and our world may say, either save up for a rainy day and use what comes your way. We believe that, no, every good and perfect gift comes from our Father in heaven. Every good and perfect gift comes from God. And so we say, we want to sow into that. We want to sow into that so that more of that can come our way and we can push more of that out into our world. And so we take a time to say that God is in charge of our finances. That God is in charge of our finances and not our consumerism and not our own needs and our wants. And so we say, God, you're first. And so that comes with our finances. But then if you're like new to this journey, what we do every week is an easy first step. It's called the Dollar Club. And this is a chance for us to all take $1 for every person that's in attendance at this campus and at our campus in Benicia. Take all the dollars, put them together, and then we get to bless a family. And we get to say, here's $1,000 in your time of need. Here's $1,200 in your time of need. Yeah, it's an awesome thing to celebrate. And we get to say, God has done cool things in our lives. We believe God wants to do cool things in your life too. And so it's a time of celebration. It's a time of joy where we say, God, you're in charge of our finances. You're in charge of our needs. You're in charge of our wants. And so we put you first in that area. So that's what this time is. You can give with the envelopes. You can put money in there and drop it off in the giving boxes in the back, or you can give online or in the app at thisis.church. So that's what we've got. We've got a couple of announcements for you. So check out the screen, and then Pastor Caleb will be up to preach a message.
Good morning, Northgate. We're so glad that you're joining us on the very first Sunday of a new year. If this is your first time joining us today, we would love to get connected with you. And the simple way that we get to do that here at Northgate is through the connection card. Even if this is your second or third time joining us, we encourage you to fill it out. Once service is over, bring it out to the new friends desk out in the lobby. We got some friendly faces there that want to say hello. We got some gifts for you. But most importantly, we just want to get to know you and see how you've been enjoying Northgate so far and answer any questions that you might have. Youth Camp is right around the corner. Middle school is on January 31st to February 2nd, while high school is on February 21st to the 23rd. Youth Camp is a great way for your students to not only get away and have some fun, but to dive deeper into God's Word, worship in His presence, and to hang out with their friends and hopefully make some new ones. You can find out more information out in the lobby. We're so excited to announce that our very first Rooted session is starting on January 22nd. Rooted is an 11-week discipleship experience where you'll be challenged, make new friends, learn more about God and His love for you, and maybe learn some new things about yourself. Rooted is meant for everybody, and we've seen God do amazing things through this program. So, if you're interested, please head out to the lobby. We'll be able to answer any questions you might have. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also have the Northgate app. There you can find some past sermons, podcasts with our pastors, transformation stories, and so much more. It's your way of taking us with you wherever you go. We're so glad that you're joining us today.